Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football.
The first day of training is when I realized, this is why they win the league every year.
When I spoke with Kevin, if I gonna sign or no for Olympiacos, he said, you are crazy, go direct, my friend.
Να πετύχω ήθελα να μείνω στην ιστορία του Ολυμπιακού.
I can't speak, sure.
Yeah.
Σ' αγαπώ πάρα πολύ, Πειραιάς. Είμαι Γάβρος πάντα, όλοι μαζί.
What's happening, everyone? Adi and Costa here, Gate 7 International, a Sunday edition, touching on a few things, preseason number 2, some transfer rumors, and of course, maybe a little bit of a World Cup chat afterwards. Costa, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, good to be back. It's been a while since we've done a live. Let's get the juices flowing. I think, we already managed to do that with a Cholevas interview.
For sure. And well, now that you brought it up, guys, if you haven't checked it out already, the Cholevas interview is up. It is, in my opinion, and I know some of the comments on the video and on socials agreed, this is the best interview we've done. We've done some great interviews with a lot of great players, but unfiltered Cholevas is something else. That guy is a trip, tells it like it is, and you love to hear it from him. I mean, it was an amazing interview. Costa and Costa, they did a fantastic job to bring you guys this content. So check it out if you haven't done so already. It's a really, really wonderfully done interview.
It's dynamite.
Literally.
You have to, I mean, you know the guy, from his demeanor, he looks like a very direct kind of person, like outspoken, and, you know, the title was quite indicative of what the interview was like. I mean, the guy is a straight shooter. He's very, very direct, very honest. He talked about his first stint at Olympiacos. He talked about the second time round, the differences. He talks about pretty much like all the managers, almost like Martins, Mitchell, Valverde, Santos, national team, the Costa Rica game, what happened after that. Some stories, you know, what was going on when penalties were being taken. Yeah, if you haven't checked out the interview already, go and check it out afterwards. Put it on your watch later list. Yeah, that's one you don't want to miss. Greek subtitles available too, guys. Go check it out.
And the Greek subtitles are good Greek subtitles. That's why we bring up, because we do have subtitles available for everything, but these are actually like well done subtitles.
They are well done subtitles because I spent 4 or 5 hours editing them. So please
check out the video for Costa's sake. If you guys haven't done so already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell at the bottom if you want to be notified anytime we go live. Content is always coming. We're bringing you Legends interviews. Transfer season is upon us. The mid-season transfer window is upon us, which means more deep dives if new players come in. Stay up to date with us. We're always bringing you guys the latest news. We have our sources now. We've developed some great relationships over the course of the last couple of years for this podcast. So we are always in the know these days. So keep up with us. We do lives post-match when they happen, and we're also going to be doing some stuff for the holidays as well. So stay in touch, hit that like button, subscribe. The engagements continue to help us for the algorithm, and it's continuing to grow the show. Some great growth across the last couple of days. Help us continue to make this red, white, and community the biggest that it can be. A couple of quick notes from our sponsors real quick as well. Piraeus International is your one-stop shop for all your international transshipping needs. Whether you're shipping in and out of Greece, the United States, England, Australia, you name it, they can help you. Give our friends a call at 410-675-4696. That's a US-based number, so don't forget, for those of you that are overseas, dial 001 to connect. And check them out on their website at www.piraeusintl.com. And lastly, guys, I don't know if any of you have been following along on socials. We've been doing the Bettor's Corner. I've been placing bets literally every day for every game, using, of course, with some of the data that we have access to try and make the most informed bets. Some of you have bet alongside with us. Some of you have shared your bets with us, which is really cool. I'm doing all right so far. Today wasn't a good day. We'll see what happens with Spain, Germany, but it hasn't been a good day for me today, but I've been winning most of them. So check it out. Bet along with us. The promo code is GATE7INTL. Visit betus.com.pa. The link is always included in our social media posts, so you can always find it there. It's also at the description of the show. So check it out, and you guys can bet and make some money with us. Now that that's out of the way, one other quick shout out we wanted to mention before we start getting into it, and that is Olympiacos DC. They have made it to the division finals of UPSL play. They had a great win against SYC United, 3-0. It was a very strong win, very decisive win. They've made it to the division finals pretty much every season since they've started in UPSL. We're hoping that this year is the year that they win, and then they go on to the national tournament and hopefully win that spot in the US Open Cup. So good luck, guys. We're all with you. Guys, if you're on socials, follow them at Olympiacos DC. Give them a shout. Give the boys some words of encouragement. They're really young guys. They're just motivated to wear the badge. You love to see it. And they're just fighting to one day, maybe they can be the next players for Olympiacos. So check them out and wish them the best. TF91 here with a great question. Can somebody explain where does Olympiacos DC compete? Olympiacos DC competes right here in the United States. They play in UPSL. That stands for the United Premier Soccer League. It's 4th division U.S. soccer. So it is the first division outside of professional. 3rd division is where professional starts in the U.S. So a win here in the finals and a really good appearance in the national tournament can see some investment for them so that they can move into a professional league. Then Olympiacos will have 2 professional clubs across the world. That's what we're trying to get here. So these guys compete in the United States in 4th division U.S. soccer, just so that we can hopefully get them into a professional league. So good luck to the boys. We hope that they win the whole thing. Now let's get on with it, boys. So Costa, the big thing that came out, the big news is the squad that was announced for Spain for preseason 2.0. There's a couple of surprises, both surprise inclusions and exclusions. So we're going to put this is the call sheet here for everybody that went to Spain. Marcelo included after reports of us maybe cutting his contract. Kind of weird. Interesting. Doran Leiter included. Like to see that. Galugieropoulos is making it as well, with alongside Socrates, Retsos, Useinuba, and Adroutsos. Now, a notable exclusion there in the defender list is Gonzalo Avila. Not included. There's been a lot of rumor and speculation that he is cut because of what happened during the Panathinaikos game. We can touch on that in a little bit. You see the goalkeepers, no real surprises there. Midfielders, again, not too many surprises there, except for the fact that Dabo is coming to Spain with the team. We've talked to you guys, really excited about this player. He looks really good for the B team. This is a guy that pretty much, I think all 4 of us agreed is ready for the first team. He's a tremendous talent, should be there. So excited to see him. And Josh Bowler is also part of the squad. Another guy that we thought maybe was either going to be cut or sent back to Blackpool. But, he's included with the squad on the way, to Spain for 2.0 of preseason training. Costa, what do you make of the list and the inclusions here and exclusions?
To be honest with you, it's more or less what I expected. I think maybe, the one that was really uncertain was Marcelo. Or actually, let me take a step back. The ones that I was curious to see if they were going to go was Marcelo, Leidner, Galugieropoulos from the defenders list, and then in midfield, Samaseku and Dabo for sure, because that we'd kind of caught some wind about Dabo potentially going to Spain, and then whether or not Agibu Camara would be taken as a striking option. I mean, he's only got 2 strikers. So if somebody gets, God forbid, somebody gets injured in training or during a match, then he's got preseason with 1 striker to work with. Honestly, From that list, I am super happy to see that Dabo gets a chance, because I think when he's been playing with the B team, it's boys against men, or rather, or the other way around, whichever you prefer. He's above and beyond everyone else, I think, in that team. I think the fact that Inbom is away with the national team gives him the opportunity to go there. I think, for me, his competition in that midfield is Kasami, not so much Bukhalagis. I don't know if Bukhalagis can turn things around at the club, but I think this is a real chance for Dabo to stake his place in the first team for when he gets back. Happy to see Leidner is taken. For Marcelo, I mean, it's the last chance. I think he has to show something while we're there, and if he doesn't, then possibly he stays and doesn't come back. There were rumors that he's been offered a job by Real Madrid as an ambassador. I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, to say that he's been a disappointment is an understatement. But there you go. I think those, Dabo, Marcelo, Leidner, they're the ones to really kind of focus in on looking at that list there. Samaseko too. He was one that we weren't sure. There was some talk about his contract being terminated. I mean, his loan being terminated, but he played for Hoffenheim, so he can't go back to Hoffenheim and be loaned to another club. So to be loaned back to Hoffenheim to sit on the bench at Hoffenheim, I'm not sure. It would be good to see him get an opportunity as well. But I mean, visually, just looking at that list, like, look how many midfielders are there. Like, look how many midfielders and look how many strikers. It's an imbalance. It's an imbalanced midfield still.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess technically, Vrusai and Doi, for the sake of how they've been used, they would really be defenders. They're going to be used as wingbacks. Vrusai has been pushed up the field, I think, once this season so far. But yeah, still, even if we move them like we're supposed to, I should say, it's still a very imbalanced midfield, as it were. The Samaseko thing surprises me because, again, he's a loanee. We're never doing the buyout. I thought maybe Michel would want to cut the cord early with him, stick with the guys that are staying, but I guess not. I mean, he's a great player. Every time we see him, he looks like he has something at least to offer. He looks like a great asset that could be in the midfield. So maybe Michel sees that and he's willing to move forward with him. There's a good question also here from Nolan Linder Fox about Fadiga. What happened to Fadiga? He's on loan. So I don't think that was ever going to be an option this season because he's on loan. He's going to stay on loan, and we'll see him when he comes back over the summer. So that's why you don't see him there. But, I'm hoping that some good comes of this preseason for the younger guys. Dabo, Ledner, Doran Leidner. I just want to see this kid play for the first team. I think I've said that enough. I don't need to beat that dead horse, I guess, but that's what I want to see. I want to see this kid really tear it up. We hear nothing but good things about him in training. I think he deserves a chance on the pitch for the first team to show what he's got. And I think he'll get that in those friendlies. So let's hope for the best. Maybe a Masuras revival, so we don't see what we've seen. What do you think? Who knows?
Honestly, yeah. It feels like a broken record. I mean, looking at that list of midfielders, the only attacker that you have that can play one-on-one is Bowler, Gary Rodriguez, maybe, if he's fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fortunis, I don't know if Fortunis is being, if they'll experiment with Fortunis on the wing at this moment in time, because James is your 10. James is the playmaker. Everything is going to be built around him. I would be open to seeing that experiment, Fortunis out on the left right now. because I think the creativity and the lack of guile in the final third is really stark. We don't have a player coming from the wing that can score, that can assist. Masouras hasn't done it this season. No. Rodriguez played a couple of games before he got injured. Same old story. So I'm expecting to see that. I'm expecting to see an experiment with Fortunis out on the wing on the left. I really don't know to what extent Mitchell is going to rely on a player like Bowler. Not that I think like he's not good enough. I just have a sense that Mitchell is less interested to invest time in players that aren't going to be here next season. So Samaseku is not going to be here next season. Darbo is. Bowler's not going to be here next season. Fortunis is. You could even argue that for Agibu Camara, but okay, that's a different discussion. You probably want to play Agibu Camara so that he gets seen and somebody comes and buys him. I don't. That's a really interesting one, man, because this is a player who we haven't talked a lot about this season. Agibu, that is. And we all remember how it went last season. So everything pretty much revolved around him to the point where it got ridiculous. We relied far too much on him, and we don't know, that got to his head maybe a little bit, too much pressure on his shoulders, thrown into the deep end, and from one day to another just became an indispensable part of the team. And now he's so far away from that player that that was introduced to us essentially last season. Can he turn it around? Somebody's asking the question now. I don't know. I don't know where he fits in this team. I think that he's an 8. How to say, like, I don't mean this like a like for like comparison, like an N'Golo Kante, but he's got the legs. Like, he's good at breaking up possession. If you look at his stats, like steals and interceptions and pressures, very good statistics. It's the same what we discussed last season. His major issue was decision making. So when to shoot instead of passing, or when to pass instead of shooting. Those kinds of things where last season we talked about a lot. It's like, why did you shoot there? You had a pass on. Or why did you pass? You should have shot. That's where we hoped to see improvement that we haven't. And to be honest with you, man, like he hasn't had a run of games this season. But who do you take out? Huang? No way.
Absolutely.
There's no way. There's no way you take him out of this team. So
look, what I always remind everybody, because I get asked the same question as well. People will DM and ask the same thing about Agibu. Why does he suck now when he was so good? My issue, I don't see a revival for Agibu as it stands under Michel. The play style doesn't suit him. Last year, think about the best things that we saw from him. Think about the games and the context for which we saw the best out of him. I always like to bring up the Fenerbahce game. Fenerbahce, if you guys remember when we were playing the mid-block against them, he was one of the guys sitting there deep. As soon as they crossed midfield and they made that first pass, he was closing things down. He's very great. You already brought up intercepting the ball, anticipating where the ball's going to go, closing passing lanes down. But the problem with him is he's not offensively is where it doesn't seem to click that well for him. He makes some very bad decisions when we're in transition or when we're getting forward with the ball, whether it's a counter or just the run of open play. That's where his struggle is. And you can't be struggling under Michel. We're playing a little bit more high tempo, a little bit more high press, more offensive. It doesn't work as well. Under Martins, when we were playing this I don't want to say anti-football, but more pessimistic football, it worked for him. He's also pretty good on a set piece. Look at some of those wonder goals he got. He got a ton of these wonder goals off of set piece situations. So these are the skills that he has. And right now, it doesn't fit with what the team is doing and what's going well with the team. So this is why he's not doing well or maybe performing as well under Michel. It wasn't managed well by the club. And as long as Michel's the coach, I don't see, unless he's being used as an 8, which I'm sorry, right now we have better guys ahead of him. I don't see how he finds his way back to this team. That's my personal opinion, Costa. Costa, there's actually a couple questions in the comment section about Gonzalo Avila. And his we briefly brought it up earlier that there were some rumors about Panathinaikos, the Panathinaikos game being a precursor for him kind of being kicked out. But how the club has acted regarding that, it doesn't seem to be in line or consistent with that approach. There's also a comment here from TF91. Guys, have you heard the rumors that Avila has a health issue? Probably it's not true, but it's the only logical reason I can think of about letting him go. We've heard rumors, as some of you guys have. Nothing confirmed, obviously. There's nothing that we can say is this is the reason. All I can say from my end, at face value, I see why, at face value, I can see why it's easy to think that the Panathinaikos game is the reason for him being shown the door. Because with everything we've seen from him, he hasn't been bad this season. He came in to be a rotation back, and he's kind of had to step up and be the main guy. And he hasn't looked bad. He's had some great games. He's had some not so great games. It doesn't make sense why you would cut him otherwise, because it's not like he's been super bad as bad as I can say some other players have been. You know what I mean? I understand why people, because initially I thought the same thing. I understand why people think the Panathinaikos game is why he's getting the boot. It also doesn't make sense because you look at the club stance on the foul that he committed. Publicly, they never blamed him for anything. They always said it was never a penalty. Karapapas in his stories has always said that's never a penalty. He did nothing wrong, blah, blah, blah. So the club is usually pretty consistent in what its message is or lack thereof. Does that make sense, Costa? So I feel like if there was an issue with Avila and they took issue with him committing that foul, something would have been said already, or a message would have been sent already. That's how I look at it. So
no, they would never change the story. I mean,
right, exactly.
It wasn't a penalty. So to say he's going because that game is to say, oh, it was a penalty, it's his fault.
Exactly.
It's a weird one because, like you said, he's come in to do a job as a rotation player, somebody that would come in and, fill in for the starting right back in an easier game in Greece. And, we talked about him having ability going forward, and we saw that in some games. His decision making needs to improve as well. He's another one of those players, but he's still fairly young. Not old by any shape or form. I can't remember how old. He's 25, 26.
24, I thought.
Even younger. So it's a weird one because now you get all these rumors about his health, which I don't want to exacerbate. Those are rumors, but when you hear the reporters, the Olympiacos reporters on the radio, they were saying that he looks shaky after the Panathinaikos game. What was it? We played AEK the game right after that, and he didn't have a great game against AEK. My point is, where did this Androutos and Vrusai leapfrogged him storyline come from. So all of a sudden, Androutos and Vrusai were like out 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
This summer, and fair enough. Like Androutos done it before, man. It's not the first time that Androutos has kind of worked his way back into the team, and like hats off, credit to him. But again, like Androutos and Vrusai leapfrogging Avila all of a sudden, I don't get it. And frankly, like I'm so not angry, I'm just so disappointed. Like only one of the 12, 15 transfers that we made before September like has come through. That's Juan. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, we made like I'm not taking into account Samaseku, James, Bakambu. I'm talking about like the signings that we made this summer that could play in Europe, that were available for all competitions. It's totally unacceptable for a club of our size and stature that one transfer we made is successful. Not even this one, which is a backup signing, like a player that came into play as a backup squad rotation role. And we're going to talk about Rodinei in a minute, because somebody asked a question as well about, we're going to talk about some transfer talk. Even if Rodinei comes in and, you know, he's the starting right back, Avila, why wouldn't he continue to play the role that he was signed for?
Right.
As a backup,
at least as a backup. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird one.
Look, for me, a comment just coming in from the random dude. Avila being gone more or less confirms that the board think that he was to blame for Leoforos. We are seriously going to replace him with a 30-year-old with no European experience. Look, again, this isn't, guys, I think you're reading a little bit too much into that. And the only reason I say that is I understand why you jump to that, because otherwise there's no reason to believe that he hasn't done anything to warrant an exit like that. But the club, regardless of how you feel sometimes about how the club is and the club stance on certain things, they are at least consistent on those things. So they wouldn't just publicly blame, let's say, the refs and not put any of it on Avila if they believed he had some part in it, because then makes them look like they are blaming for him. And I don't think the club would do that. The club is pretty consistent in its message. For me, I believe it. I could believe very easily, at the very least, that it's an off-field thing. If it were an injury, if he sustained a big injury, we would already have heard about it, or at the very least that he had some kind of injury. Maybe not. We wouldn't have known exactly what it was, but we would know that something happened to him. So it leads me to believe it's one of two things, right? Somebody already posted the rumor about a serious medical issue. It could be that, or two, some other off-field issue. If it were like an off-field issue, like some other type of fasaria, like, you know, whether it's like Ruben Semedo or Bruno, something like along those lines, I feel like we would have heard something in the news already. Or at something along those lines, something negative, maybe from one of the other rival papers, whatever, would have said something or gotten their hands on it somehow. So I could believe the medical issue. Again, we've heard the rumors ourselves, but we have nothing confirmed. We can't tell you it is one way or another. But I don't think that it has anything to do with Leoforos, guys. So that's just saying that. And we might as well move on to Rodney, because everyone's already asking about him. So pull it up, Costa.
Yeah, we can go and talk about transfers now. Before we do, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Costs you nothing. If you're joining us for the first time, we're Gate 7 International, your number one English source for all things Olympiacos. Hit the bell, to get notification every time we go live. We are live after games. We have special content like the Jose Lebas interview. Again, if you haven't seen that interview, don't know where you've been the last few days, go ahead and check that out. All right. So, is this the guy to solve our issues at right back? Ari, maybe you've got another deep dive coming soon, mate. Deep dives are going to start up again.
They will if he does sign. I always say, I always do a deep dive for him. I don't have much for you guys right now for him. The one thing I can say, the profile, and a lot of people aren't going to like this for sure. The profile is very similar to like how when I watched Gonzalo Avila play, the profile is like very similar to some of the stuff we saw with Avila. Pretty good getting forward, decent dribbling ability, but the defensive ability again is like, you know what I mean? It's a little questionable. Again, at the very least, at a cursory glance, deep dives, I spend hours looking at film, and I'll get a much better sample size. I'll look at a lot more regarding the player, what he's done, you know, and everything else. But what I've seen so far, there's two things that are very clear. He's a pretty good dribbler, and he's a pretty bad defender, like defending the ball. So those are the two things he has going for him. I'm not overly impressed by what he's done this season. For those of you that know, he plays in the Brazilian league. He's played for Flamengo. I'm not overly impressed with what he's done. I think he had, last I checked, it was like 6 assists for the season. And that's in, I don't know how many games, but it's over 3,000 minutes. So it's okay. It's nothing terrible. I mean, at this rate, it'll probably be similar to what Oleg will do if Oleg follows his similar trajectory. Not that that's saying much. In terms of volume of balls in the box, the cursory look that I saw as far as career average goes doesn't give me a lot to really get excited about. It's not like there's high volume coming from him throughout the season. So we'll see. I mean, if he does sign for the club, I'll do a much more in-depth analysis. But a rumor like this, it doesn't exactly excite me, I should say. You know what I mean? At the very least, Gonzalo Avila was younger. I would much rather have a younger guy. You know, assuming everything is okay, there's no major health issues or whatever. If everything is status quo, I prefer a guy like Avila. You could argue that the CV for this guy is a little bit better if you value the Brazilian league more than second division England. But aside from that, I'm not overly excited with this transfer. It just seems like another lateral step, or maybe a step backwards for me. I don't know how you see this at first glance, Costa, but this guy doesn't overly excite me.
No, and I think in reality, look, man, in the modern game, I think the two of the most important players in the team are your wing backs. So to think that we're going to get, you know, like a top wing back, like a Omar in his heyday replacement, or a Tsimikas replacement in January, never going to happen. I think it's a band-aid, as Labros would put it. I think it's a band-aid transfer. He's 30, going 31. He'll be 31 in January. Now, the story is that River Plate were looking at him. So he's out of contract. So he's a free transfer. Okay, so low risk for the club, like Vasalko was money-wise. We knew Vasalko's injury issues. This guy, as far as I know, he doesn't have injury issues. Yeah, he played 47 games last season. So I'm wondering a little bit how he's going to be presumably they want him to go to Spain so that he can gel with the team, get to know his teammates, the manager, the system he wants to play, so that he can play in January immediately, because we don't have a starting right back. So this guy is coming in reportedly on a free transfer, on a 2.5-year contract. What can I tell from the videos? Like, you can't. I mean, these guys sit and they do videos and they show all the good stuff. I don't know the player.
Right.
I'll judge him when I see him. But it is what we can do right now in a January transfer window. And we heard some rumors over the summer from contacts that we were looking at the Brazilian market throughout the summer. Willian was another name that we were hearing a lot, talking to some people. Like, we were looking at the Brazilian market. So that the fact that we've turned there for this kind of signing doesn't surprise me based on what we heard this summer from our contacts. Again, this is a player now who, a lot of people are saying that he was in the larger squad, the larger Brazil squad, before they picked the final 22. Flamengo fans seem to love him. If you go on socials and you look at the comments about him leaving, some of them are distraught. Yeah, so I figure he plays with a lot of passion. He seems very physical, strong. Again, from some highlight clips that I've seen, he's reportedly rejected a bid from River Plate, from Al Nassr. He's not interested to go and play for money over there. He has some motivation. He turned down an offer apparently from Serie A, from a lower team in Serie A, and it looks like he wants to come to us because he wants to come and fight for the league and have the possibility to play in European competition, which right now, from the offers he has, would probably be the only team to be able to offer that to him. He's never played in Europe. Can he adapt quickly? It's the Greek league. I mean, we're not playing in any European competition. How bad can he be? Some people are saying. Some people are asking. I don't know.
I found what yeah. But I've been finding that the more we say that question, especially in recent times, can he be worse than what we have? Can it get much worse? We tend to surprise ourselves sometimes, and also our track record with Brazilians hasn't been good.
No, it hasn't. You just stole that from. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I mean, the last one was Rafinha. Okay, he came at 34, 35 from Flamengo. Again, he came from Flamengo. Before that, I mean, my mind goes back to Santana. Some of you remember Santana. Absolute travesty. 6-month loan signing. Trying to think of other Brazilians we've had at the back. Edu Dracena, some of you might remember. Julio Cesar. Leonardo at left back was another one. He was all right. Igor Carioca, the Brazilian Croatian, who was a good player, by the way. He's playing in France now in League One. Anyway, we'll never know about that. But yeah, Brazilians at the back hasn't gone too well for us. Let's see when this is done. You know, you've got another deep dive to do, mate. I'm looking forward to hearing what you've got there. But if anything, like, this is an experienced player. Just come back of winning the Copa Libertadores with Flamengo, and Flamengo is a massive team. Like, so he won't come to Greece and be, you know, in awe of the raucous crowds and all of that. Like, he'll be used to that. Let's see.
You would hope, at least. There's also we got a question here about Daniel Mancini. The rumors about the Aris left wing, right wing, attacking mid. We'll just call him midfielder. That one, at least for me, that one's a little bit more interesting of I don't know. Like, at face value, he's more interesting of a prospect than this, because he's got the same number of goal contributions, but with 1,000 minutes. He's played about 1,200 minutes so far this season.
When's the last time he played, Ari? I swear he's been injured, or like Aris hasn't been playing him. But like, this is the thing. I don't want to sign players for the sake of signing them.
Right.
It's like Mancini isn't a long-term transfer. Like he doesn't have a long-term future at the club. Neither does Rodinei. Okay, like you say that foreign players or players come in and after 2.5 years we sell them. So define a long-term objective, somebody that can like last in the team. But for me, Mancini's not really somebody that we can bring in and sell at a higher price. Neither's Rodinei. It's not like I don't like. It's another Band-Aid transfer. It's like, oh, we're lacking wingers, but we've got Josh Bowler until the end of the season. Use him. So that's what we're going to do with Mancini. We would sign Mancini and say, oh yeah, like we, see what he does until the end of the season. And then, Olympiacos is going to look for a winger like we do every summer. So you're not bringing in Mancini to be a starter. I'd rather play Fortunis on the wing.
Me too.
I would rather play Fortunis on the wing than sign Mancini. Fortunis will give me the same, if not better. It's like, okay, he might not be as fast as Mancini, but in terms of goal contributions or assists, I expect higher numbers from Fortunis than I do from Mancini. Mancini, qu'est-ce que c'est Mancini? Like, what am I going to do with Mancini? Is he better than Bowler? I'm not sure. Does he know the Greek league? Yeah, he knows the Greek league. Like, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not a fan of that signing.
A familiar question, but this time with a different player. When was the last time we had a great Addis player come and play well for us?
Oh, God. I'm trying to think. Like, do you have one?
No, I can't think of a player from Addis that did very well with us.
I can't.
Because we've gotten a couple. We've gotten a couple from Addis, and they've never.
Avram.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, but how long ago was that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
The
last,
good
I swear, like the last good signing, like from Addis was Avram.
From Addis, what would have been Avram? You're absolutely right. I was only like thinking like the last 5-6 years. Even trying to go back as far as 10 years, and I couldn't think of anybody.
We've signed like Javito. Javito came from Addis. He barely played. I think Valverde had him in his squad. He maybe got 1 or 2 chances and maybe a cup game and never really played.
Didn't Bruno come from them too, or did we give them Bruno?
I can't remember if he was at Atromitos or on loan to Addis, or I can't remember.
Yeah, of course. Then the most recent one is AK-47.
Oh,
so what a waste that was.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a minute. The jury could be out because didn't Bagaglianis come from them?
Yeah.
So if Bagaglianis turns out, if he turns out, that would change.
Bagaglianis hasn't played though.
But he hasn't played, exactly. But then in that case, we should only buy center backs from Addis then. If Bagaglianis turns out that's the only thing we'll get well from them. Oh gosh. Yeah, we have to go back further. But anyway, that's besides the point. I'm with you there, man. I'd rather just trust younger talent at this point. Thank you, TF91. Bruno did go to Addis after us. I forgot where we even got Bruno from. Must have been like Offie or something.
You see, people are going off in the chat. I don't know if this is before I said his name or after.
Avram, yeah.
Avram, Mavrogianidis. Was he Irish or Iraq?
Mavrogianidis. I didn't even think about that one.
Then Iraklis, he Irish, I can't remember, but yeah,
we can.
Mavrogianidis was a good show. It was a good show.
We can put this to bed. Good old Y Scout here, ready to help us out.
Yeah, there you go.
Good old Y Scout. No, it was Addis. Yeah, we sent him to Iraklis after that.
Okay.
And Bruno was at Dromidos. I was gonna look that one up too, but the chat's already got me there. Thank you guys. But yeah, man, it's well, we'll see. Look, we'll see what happens. It feels like with some of what we've already heard for the winter that we're just about to make the same mistakes again that we've already been making.
Yeah, totally. I'm with
but
you.
We trusted some of our younger guys, and look what it's gotten us. You know what I mean? Ndoye. We put the faith in Ndoye. He turned out. Look, Adruzos worked his butt off. I'd rather trust what's already here. I'd rather trust what's in the system. We have enough talent to win the league. We have enough talent to finish the season strong as it is. Pick the rest of the pieces. I don't want any more nonsense. No more mercenaries. No more guys that aren't going to play with this and play for the badge. I'm done. I'm done with that.
I'm with you.
Play the guys. Play the younger guys. They're full of passion. They want to play.
I'm with you. And there's another rumor that surfaced a few hours ago, and that's about Seydou Doumbia. He's a player that plays for Angers in League One. They're the worst defense in French top flight football. They're most likely going to get relegated. Doumbia is a left back from the Ivory Coast. He started his career at PSG in the youth system. He's basically been playing in League One his entire career. He's 26 years of age. And he's out of contract in the summer, and he was mentioned as a potential transfer target. He's a left back. And again, you're just like, okay, for me, you don't sign a left back unless you're selling one. You have Oleg Ryabchuk. You have Doran Leidner. Is Marcelo ever going to play at left back? But you have 3 there already.
Yeah.
If you sign this guy, Doumbia, no chance to see Doran Leidner. I feel like it's one of those typical transfer windows. It's always the same. It's like names coming and going just to keep things going, just to keep putting stories out there. I have a feeling from listening to the manager when he joined, he said, I want to work with 24 players. He took 24 players to Spain, plus 3 keepers, 27 players. We should not be making signings unless they are absolutely necessary. A right back is absolutely necessary. A centre back probably. I don't know how much we can rely on Socrates.
No.
He got injured. Like, he got injured in the last game. I don't know how long he's going to be out. And he's a rhythm player. He needs 2-3 games to be Socrates. Yeah. Rezos, not reliable. I love him, but he's unreliable. And then who have you got? Like, you're going to get Avram to put his training kit back on, Paul Scholes style. I don't know. Who else have we got at centre back? I'm lost. I'm genuinely lost. Like, Bar? No, thank you. No, I'm done. I'm done. Like, and Cisse I love as well, but I hope Cisse gets a move. It's over for Cisse in the club. It's over.
Yeah.
I love
honestly,
him to bits. I love him to bits, but it's done.
Is it too much to ask that maybe we grow a young center back pairing together? Like, why did we stop doing that with our Greek center backs? You know what I mean? Or bringing in maybe like another Greek center back that can play well. Like, remember when we had Manola and Siovas playing together? I thought that was a great center back pairing. Here we have Doy, who's playing very well, and we have 2 other guys that are promising. One that's on loan, Bagalianis, and then Kalogeropoulos. Is it too much to ask to start maybe building some chemistry between those guys? Let them play. Maybe that's something for over the summer, but why not let Kalogeropoulos play alongside Ndoye? I know maybe you want some more veteran experience there. At the very least, to finish the season, you need somebody that's more veteran. But I would like to grow a young pair together.
But that's why Socrates and Ndoye worked so well.
Yeah,
because you had the experience of Socrates and the youth and like determination of Ndoye, and yeah, I don't know. Hadzidiakos. we know that there were some talks when they came for the friendly in the summer, but I don't know. Like Olympiacos is probably quite expensive too, man.
I don't. He's not coming back to Greece, man. There's no way.
Yeah, Nolan.
There's no way, dude.
Cut the bullshit,
Come on,
man. There's no way.
Come on, buddy.
There's no way. We should have signed him back then, but Arsene Wenger picked us to him. Like, fair enough. But
that's just what I want to see, man. I would love. I don't see why we can't just start building at a necessity, trying to build a young core for center back. Like, okay, the either way though, like the moves that need to be made. You look at like forget left back. You look at okay, maybe you need somebody a veteran, healthy presence at center back, and then a right back. And then don't forget, we forgot to mention left back. Who's coming back over the summer after his loan? Kitsos. Project Nutsimikas.
Sure.
And he's having a decent go of it. Like right before the break, he was actually doing pretty well with Omonia, playing against Manchester United, playing multiple league games for them. I mean, he had literally
he was marking
4
Anthony.
straight starts. Yeah.
He was marking Anthony against United. He did really well.
Looked very well. Costa, look at his I mean, all I can tell you is, and I have it pulled up right here, like, look at his volume of shot contributions. I would cry if Oleg could put up these kind of numbers. Okay, yeah, it's Cyprus, but we play in Greece, man. Like, and we can't get Oleg to play balls forward or into the box. Kitsos also can dribble past people.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to hear, honestly, I don't want to hear anything about a left back. If I hear that we're looking for another left back signing outside of what we have without selling Rebjuk or without getting rid of somebody else, I'm going to lose my mind. I only want to hear about right back. I really want to hear about right back.
Right back.
That's what I want to hear about.
That's it. That's it, man. You like look at everything that's being talked about. Even if we sign a winger, we sign a proper winger. Not Daniel Mancini. We sign a proper winger.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just go with Bowler. Go with Bowler and Rodriguez to the end of the season. You don't need more players for the sake of having players. You need players that will make a difference. The only necessity is a right back. Even at centre back, I will go as far as saying, go with what we have. You bought Retos back in the summer. Was it a gamble? Play it. Like, put your chips on the table then. You bought Retos, play him. Now in Spain, Socrates is injured. I know he's in the squad, but play Retos and Doi. Can Retos play 2 90-minute games? Can he play 3 90-minute games in a row? Play him against Huddersfield. Play him against Standard. Play him against Forest. Let's see. And then decide, do we really need to buy a Band-Aid centre-back?
Yeah.
Or should we trust Bar again? Play him. Why did we bring him back? Why did we bring back Retos? Did we just bring him back so that we could make numbers for the UEFA list? No. Play him.
Yeah. Here's a comment from Aris Galamatis, sorry. Manolas coexisted with Siovas only 2 seasons, and he was in both starting 11s. My point was the Greek, going back to the Greek center back thing. Not that they were built for a very long time. Yeah, you're 100% right. I just wanted, like, that those seasons when we had Manolas and Siovas, we had an all Greek back line. Do you remember that? It was Torosidis, Manolas, Siovas, and Holebas. We had an all Greek back line. We're like, if we build this, you know, if it works out how I would like it to work out, we could also have an all Greek back line again. But, you know, okay, maybe Retsos sticks around. We bring up Kalogeropoulos and Doi. We have Kitsos on the left. Okay, hopefully Doran Ledner too. And then on the right, well, for the moment, it's Vrusai and Androutsos. We're almost there. We're that close to having an all-Greek backline.
Big mistake this summer not signing Saliakas, letting him go to 2nd Division Germany. Big mistake.
Who laughed at us when we talked about that too in our chat? That was Labro. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
Big mistake.
Costa, we're coming up almost an hour. Almost an hour we're coming up to here. Before we close up, maybe brief chat about the World Cup for a few games tomorrow. Guys, I don't know if any of you guys are betting guys out there, but those of you that have been following, I've actually been doing pretty well with some of our betting, some of our pro tips, as it were, for betting. Been doing all right. I'm still in the black, even though today I don't think I've won anything. But like and subscribe, guys. Don't forget, those of you that are tuning in, keep in touch with all the news that's coming, all the betting stuff that's going on for the World Cup. We also are going to get in touch with all the transfer rumors. Where ears are on the ground. Everybody is all over the place. Our hands are everywhere these days, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest information. So help us continue to grow the red and white community and make this the best that it can be. But real quick before we close up, Costa, let's get some of these betting tips out for the boys. There's a lot of you guys that are bettors. I do post the bets that I make every night. We put them on socials to follow along. There's a couple of games coming up. The first game that's coming up is tomorrow. It's going to be Serbia versus Cameroon. For those of you that are looking to bet, the bet that I'm making, I actually am taking Serbia in this match, and I'm taking an under. I'm using an over-under as well. It's like one of those double parlays. So I'm taking a Serbia win with under 2.5 goals. Part of the reason being is the reason I'm taking this is under with Serbia and Cameroon's last performances, plus their performances leading up to the World Cup. Neither one of them have been in games where they score 3 goals very often. In fact, both teams, the games that they play, they're averaging under 2.5 goals a game. So mathematically, the odds are with you that this game will be around that time. Now, I think Serbia, of course, even though they didn't look so good against Brazil, it's Brazil, one of the strongest teams in the tournament. They've got a lot of firepower and Cameroon, for me, doesn't seem to have it. They only had one great chance in the first game that they played. And it was a bit of a whiff of a chance. So I'm taking Serbia with this, and I've got the under 2.5 goals. Gosh, do you have any fun bets for this game? Any picks for the winner?
Mitrovic to score.
That's another shout. He actually is the favorite to score first. It's only 2.4. Very low payout.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I expected a little bit more from Serbia against Brazil. I think they set up quite conservative. Fair enough, playing against Brazil, which is a team that plays with Casemiro and then Neymar as like an 8/10 and very, very attacking. So, okay, maybe they were wise not to go all out. But Serbia's got some good attacking players, man. Like Filip Kostic didn't play in the first game. I can't remember if he came on as a sub. Vlahovic came on in the second half. I expect Serbia to play Vlahovic and Mitrovic up front and put Kostic out on the left. I remember Kostic was a nightmare when we played Frankfurt. That left foot, great balls into the box. And Kostic and Vlahovic play at Juventus together, don't they?
They do.
I expect. I think under 2.5 is a decent shout. Borderline. It could be if Serbia score in the first half. I don't know about that Cameroon defense, to be honest with you.
Well, so that's the thing, man. That's the thing. It's the funny thing is Serbia, when like I pull the games up, right? They do have, like, if you look at the games they just played in the last calendar year, right? Including the game that they played against Brazil. The games are either them crushing their opponents 4 or whatever to 1, or it's like a single goal in the game. So the average puts it at about 2.2, 2.4. But I'm going with Koundé will save Cameroon.
Maybe one of those rockets from outside the box actually goes in, and then we can sell him.
Yeah, but Cameroon hasn't looked terrible, and I've just been seeing or at least the way I see it with where the opportunities have come from. Serbia it's one of those things like expectation versus how they've realistically performed. They have great attacking talent. They should be scoring more. They just haven't recently. So that's more the under 2.5 also had a much better payout than the 3.5. So that's also why I picked it. But we'll see what happens. Those are my picks, at least for tomorrow's game. Then the next game we've got going on, South Korea and Ghana. Now I have to tell you, I mean, I've got a soft spot for South Korea in this game, mainly because I think we all do. So no surprise. My bet for this game, I've got a South Korea win and both teams to score. Somebody, my cousin thought that was a strange bet for me to make because he thought South Korea played very well in their game against Uruguay, and he thought Ghana maybe has a lot of goals that they're going to concede. I'm not taking a lot away from this Ghanaian team, but I do think the South Korean team should have gotten points out of their previous game. I thought they did very well personally. I thought they possessed the ball very well, and I'm doubling down on that this time. I got the bet wrong before because I had South Korea to win and both teams to score, but neither scored in the last game. So I'm doubling down on that with this game going forward. I think South Korea, the Ghanaian team is a weaker team. It's a different team, a team that can score and that has power getting forward. But I think that they will get the win. But I think there will be some goals in this game too. So I'm doubling down on my previous bet with him. How do you think? I'm never betting Wee Jo Wong to score. He actually doesn't have a nice payout for this either. It was only like 4.0. Not enough. It should be like 11. And then maybe I would have placed a bet for it, to be honest with you.
Whatever you do, guys, don't forget to go and bet on betus.com.pa. You can use the code GATE7INTL. You get 125% boost on your first deposit. If you're a betting guy, go and check that out as well. Nice little promo help incentive from us. Yeah, G.I. Joe to score tomorrow. I don't know, man. But I think both teams to score is a good bet. I haven't seen the lines, but that seems
6.
That's a 6?
6
tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I'll put a tenner on that.
Yeah. Tomorrow. So I sat there and on Bet US it's a 6. So that's why I said wait a minute, because I was looking at some of the other lines, and as soon as I saw that it was that high, I was like, come on. I mean, there has to be goals in this game. I mean, just the way you saw how Ghana played against Portugal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way this game doesn't have goals in it. So, I mean, South Korea should have had goals against Uruguay. They had one penalty that I thought was a clear penalty for me that was not given to them by the referee. And they had quite a few opportunities against a very strong Uruguay team, in my opinion. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But I didn't want to do another boring over 2.5 goal bet, something like that. So I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. But that's what I'm going
on Ladbrokes, it's 2.
Only
on
2?
Yeah, Ladbrokes, both teams to score is 2.
I got 6.0 on this one, buddy.
6 to 1.
Yeah, buddy.
That's crazy. Go on betus.com now. Teams to score. That's nuts.
I'm telling you. I mean, people have messaged me over things because their odds have been way better than most of the European ones. So very enticing stuff. Third match, I don't think anybody's going to be very different for me than this, but you have Brazil versus Switzerland. That's the third game of the day. And the bet that I took for this is a Brazil win and over 3.5 goals scored. That's what I've got for this.
Over 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2.95 on Ladbrokes.
So this one for me was 4.5. Or sorry, 3.5. 3.5.
Okay.
So that was normally I usually stick around the 2.5 mark for the over-unders because I think that's like very safe. You see like most of the averages. That's where my money's been made on a lot of these bets, is sticking to that 2.5 and getting the right result, or the right winner, I should say. But It seemed pretty juicy. Unfortunately, because Brazil's such a heavy favorite, there's like no lines that have really good odds or anything that's super tasty. Everything is like 1.1 or like very low twos. Not too much was enticing, but this Brazil team just looks really good, man. They have to be favorites, or if not,
Brazil to win and both teams to score is 3.4 on Ladbrokes.
Yeah.
But their defense looked pretty good too the last game.
Yeah.
Thiago was walking it, but it was just clearing everything, and Casemiro was everywhere. And who was the other centre back? It was Thiago and Marquinhos.
Marquinhos, there you go. Yeah, and they're both great players. I mean, Serbia. I'm pretty sure Serbia's XG was 0.2 for that match.
Yeah, though they did nothing. I don't remember Serbia really having a sniff.
And to be fair with this game as well, it's not like, Switzerland didn't exactly wow me in the first game either. That first game that they played, I was not. I don't know. I wasn't overly impressed. They got the 1-0 against Cameroon, and I mean Cameroon in that game. I thought they only had one major scoring chance in that game, but they got forward, in my opinion, just as well as Switzerland did. So I'm not super high on this Swiss team. Their defense is usually pretty good, but if they were that pressured by Cameroon, I really feel like Brazil's going to have a field day with them. But we'll see. That was my bet at the very least for this. It's a little bit. I think it's a little aggressive. If you want to be safer, you could do 2.5, but the 2.5 line is very low. I mean, for BetUS at the time when I was doing the bets, it was 2.1, which is that's nothing. So I'm going a little bit higher on those. The last game, of course, is Portugal-Uruguay. This is a very interesting, probably the more fun game of the day. In the end, I did take Portugal as the winner with an under 2.5. So Portugal, Santos ball, they tend to play more defensive, although they did get a few goals against the Ghanaian team. I think because of that, I think Santos is going to huddle it in, play it close to the chest. It'll be an uglier game maybe than we expect, especially for the talent that Portugal has. I think they will get the win. It'll be a little ugly. The goals will probably come in the second half. That's the context I see. But I think when the first one goes in with Portugal, they'll get a second one again after that. So 1-0, 2-0 Portugal. I'm looking at under a 2.5 spread, and this one's paying out 4.5. So decent odds again. So I think I'll probably hit at least one of these tomorrow. My general strategy with these guys: stay away from like the exact scoreline bets. Those are traps, and they're very rare, very hard to get. Stay away from those traps. Stick to over-unders and picking match winners. Those have been the ones where I've been cleaning up on, and I'm healthily in the black. So for those of you, I've had people ask me about corners. Corners are fun to do, but it's just all over the place. And they don't pay out as well right now for the World Cup. I was doing corner bets for Olympiakos in Europa League because there were some crazy, crazy odds you could get for those. But for the World Cup, it's not as tasty. It's not as interesting. So I'm sticking to a lot of these over-unders and kind of like these double parlays where I pick the match winner and then I go with an over-under or like both teams to score or something like that. And then in some cases, if it's like a vast underdog, I just pick the win like I did with Japan. So, and that paid out 11. That was 11-1. So I did really well with that. And that's what I'm sticking with these guys. Don't fall into the traps with like, I'm not even doing like first to score or goal scorer. Those seem like traps to me too. Stick with over-unders, double parlay them into match winners. And if you've been following the World Cup, there's been some surprises, don't get me wrong. But if you've been following and watching the games, there's not too many major surprises. And you can take a reach here and there. When you're doing your bets, do a couple that are close to the chest that seem a little bit more sure, then take a flyer or two. It doesn't hurt. And it's fun. We're doing this because it's fun. Sparrows, you've been sending me your bets also, so thank you for doing that, and thank you for engaging. If you want to bet with us, don't forget Gate7INTL is the promo code. Every time we post the bets for the next day, we also include the link so you can go directly, just set the account up. They accept crypto, so you can use cryptocurrency to make your deposits as well, and they double whatever you're depositing for crypto as well. And I think a credit card, they take credit card, but only for specific countries, I think. But check it out, guys. The odds are great. The odds are better than most of the other platforms I've seen because they're trying to get aggressive and get people to bet with them. And you should check it out. It's a lot of fun. Share your bets with us too, for those of you that haven't done it already. And we're going to keep doing this the rest of the World Cup. Who knows? Maybe on another show we'll do some more bets like this. But Costa, I think this about wraps it up. I don't think we have anything else tonight. Who do you got for your World Cup winner while we're here? Who do you think's going to, like 3 teams, who do you think are your 3 front runners right now for the World Cup?
Disclaimer, I've watched very little so far, but I think Brazil, France, ask me again after the knockouts. Maybe okay. Spain. I didn't watch the Germany game today, but we
were recording. I watched the beginning before we came up here, and it was tight. But I like I'm like, dude, Brazil and France. I mean, yeah, Brazil and France, they just have more depth than everybody else. But my third, USA.
Shut up.
USA.
No.
Should have beat the 3 Lions, the 3 Pussycats. Should have beaten them. We'll see what happens.
Never write off the Croatians either, like one of those. Yeah.
Oh,
never write Croatia off.
Oh, that game pissed me off because I had the right context. I just thought that the goals wouldn't come, like the winning goals wouldn't come till the second half. I knew Canada would score first, and I knew Croatia would end up winning the game. But I really thought that first half it would be 1-1 and end 1-1. And then second half, Croatia would run away with it. But they got the second goal before the half. Man. Croatia's always good, man. Modric is just class. I love that guy.
Legend.
Absolute legend.
Tottenham legend.
Stop. I always forget that he played there before going to Real.
Of course he did.
Yeah, I always forget that. I always forget about that club.
Just because you're an Arsenal fan.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for listening, especially those of you that made it this far. Don't forget to check out the Holebas interview if you haven't done so already. Amazing interview. Best interview we've done so far. More great things to come. Cheer on Olympiacos DC. They've got their division final game this Saturday. Send a message to the guys. Wish them the best of luck. We want the best for our boys, anybody that wears the red and white kit. And thank you guys again. We'll see you next time. Don't know when the next episode will be. Probably next Sunday, I think. Today is Sunday, right? Yeah, today is Sunday. So next Sunday probably, unless something fun comes up midweek. Who knows? Check out the bets as we post them as well if you want to make money. We've been making money so far, so join with us, and you can make a pretty penny yourself. So until next time, guys, this is Gate 7 International. By the fans, for the fans. We'll see you next time.